for glass than not. That, unfortunately, is the nature of glass, and the blade itself will make a difference, but you're not going to find a blade that does not chip the glass. What you need to do is find a way to protect your glass from chipping, like I was mentioning with the stacking wax or plaster, and cutting with a saw blade, slow is your friend. The slower you can cut, the smoother it'll be. Yes? The question is little wheels that are available from Dremel, or if you've got a moto tool kind of thing, are those wheels applicable for glass? The glass industry is essentially quite small compared to their normal market, which are woodworkers and hobbyists. We pretty much have to adapt a lot of our tools to our needs. And the only way to know if a particular wheel is going to be usable is hopefully you have something expendable that you can destroy. Try it and see if you like the finish. You know, Dremel makes lots of little bits. You go to Rio Grande, they make a lot of things for jewelers, some of which will be applicable to glass. Just for example, Cratex. A lot of people like that with their glass. It's a really nice, smooth finish. It's designed for jewelry. So we've got to bring our tools from all over the place and all different kinds of walks to, and you're probably going to find 5 that don't work to 1 that does, and then you've got, you're ahead because you've taken the time to do a lot of testing. Yes? Lamination, to me, is a cold process. Bonding pieces of glass together. Not really a glue. Everybody loves to glue their glass together. Well, glues are made, are animal byproduct, like Elmer's glue or hide glue. Here we're talking pretty sophisticated adhesives. And for laminating, you want something that's clear, that's going to stick to the glass or stick the glass to whatever you want to bond it to. And there are a lot of different adhesives. There's UV adhesives. Personally, I find UV adhesives to shrink upon curing. The ones that I've experienced. There may be others out there that don't. But when you're bonding 2 pieces of glass together and the adhesive is shrinking, it's shrinking this way too. And typically, I've always found that when you grind and polish on the edge, will begin a failure, and water and air will get in as the glue separates, as the adhesive, excuse me, separates from the glass. I'm a big fan of epoxies, and there are a number of epoxies out there. A lot of epoxies made for the optical industry. If you just Google optical epoxies, you'll find Master Bond, you'll find Able Bond, there's a lot of them out there, and many of them will be appropriate for your process. We sell 2 epoxies that I've road tested and are satisfied with. One is Hextol, one is XTR 311. And different epoxies will have different characteristics, how fast they cure, how slow they cure. As a rule, I've been told the slower an epoxy will cure, the stronger it should be, providing the glass bond is properly prepared and there are additives. A1100 is an organosilane with a name longer than my arm, but it will prep the glass for bonding to epoxy. It's an adhesion promoter. With bonding and laminating, again, I personally find that polished surfaces will laminate and bond better than ground surfaces. There is the thought, and it comes from woodworking, that a ground or rough surface will stick better. Kinda yes, mostly no. Because a ground glass surface, whether sandblasted or ground on a slurry grinder or diamond wheel, kind of white looking. And the adhesive will make most of that look go away. But it's white because of all the little microfractures and cracks in the surface of the glass. So it's white because the light's reflecting off all these little cracks. So if you bond 2 pieces of glass that have a lot of cracks in the surface, you're bonding a weak surface. in my own mind. Never really been tested, but it's a logical thing for me. So, and the worst thing you can do, get out of your studio, is any Windex if you're doing any bonding, because Windex has surfactants in it, which leaves a film on the glass. And then if you bond the glass together, you're bonding that surfactant to another layer of surfactant, and you want that to really stick. You want to be glass to glass. So the best polish or the best bond is right after being polished with cerium. So you're down to fresh glass, and then keep it clean, wipe it off with alcohol before, make sure it's dry, and in some cases you want a gap filling quality to the adhesive, which may or may not be the best application for a particular adhesive. For UV adhesive, gap filling is not good because it shrinks. Epoxies generally do not shrink. They're 100% solid, so that would be a better choice for slight gap filling if you're not perfectly flat to flat. Okay, we're talking about longevity, UV resistance. The epoxies that I work with are UV stable. Hextol has a track record a mile long of being probably the most durable and most widely used epoxy. I've seen a number of UV sculptures outside, and he's asked about exposure to the sun and weather. When you're dealing with an epoxy or an adhesive that cures by light, by ultraviolet, the sunlight's full of it, it may just continue to cure and shrink. And I found UVs potentially yellow more than good epoxies. And the only way to really test it is to, what I've done in my testing is I'll bond a couple pieces of glass together, and I'll set it outside in the sun, rain, let it get nice and hot, put it in the freezer, run it through some temperature extremes. If you have the time, leave it out through a winter and let it, just give it the worst possible condition and see if you can make it fail.
What's the longest period of time you have a piece like that outside?
About 2 years, until my wife got tired of it being on the deck. He asked how long I've done that test with my own adhesive tests, and a couple years. Yes. The question is my opinion on a particular Hysol or Loctite product. No opinion. I've not used it. I've not tested it. May be good, may not. I'm sorry, I don't know.